It's Monday night, it's RaceSpotTV, and we are back for Season 2 of 2020. We are here at one of our favourite tracks of the Skippy calendar, Okayama, Japan. Rachel Wyford, Linus Preston bringing you all the action here tonight as we get ourselves underway. Clay Hughes won last season, and what a season that was. And right now we're looking at a whole shake-up of our top runners right now in qualifying. This thing is crazy. Linus, Simon Edwards, Ewan Patterson, Vaughan Roberts, Anderson, Hughes, Cox, some main players, but there's some big guys moving forwards here in the qualifying.
Yeah, there definitely is, and I think by the looks of this first practice and qualifying session, it's bound to be a great season with a lot of fast drivers. Obviously, we're missing Anthony Catt, who's usually in the top as well, but still, there's a lot of people within almost no time at all, so it's bound to be a great start to the season.
So here's our 1 second bracket tonight would be a 1:43.3, and that takes us all the way down to about 16th, 17th place. So we'll average out the difference there. About 17th, we'll say. Or 16.5th place. Can we start at 16th and a half, Linus?
I think so. Why not?
Okay, well, we'll start at 16.5. Someone has to start halfway between those two. But that is our 1 second gap. So looking to be a good race tonight. We've got about 39 drivers ready for this one. If everyone takes the tracks, of course, Paul Smith coming from his live race straight to this one. So RaceSpot's own Paul Smith will be joining us. He will qualify, but he'll be running. Either way, we'll go to your qualifying order now as we go to the grid. On pole tonight, it is Simon Edwards with Ewan Patterson in second place with Nicholas Vaughan Roberts, Lee Anderson, Clark Williams, and Claire Hughes in sixth. Matt Cox, Mick Watson, Daniel Tufts, and Adam Miles in 10th. Behind them, it's Dave Kirkman, Chris Morris, David Shepherd, Sarah Savage, James Ruth Jones in 15th place with Michael J. Taylor, Michael R. Cook, Adrian Hendy, Mark Murphy, and Simon Maltby in 20th. The rest of those positions on your screen. And as we get ready to start yet another season here, Linus, and I wish we could predict it this time. It's one of those times where we never know what's going to happen in this. It changes every season.
Yeah, it really does, and usually we have Simon Edwards and Lee Hughes and those guys up at the front, but you never know anywhere through the field what's going to happen, and one race it's going to be a clean race, next everybody's going to crash out, and you just never know. Some bad news though for Sarah Savage, qualified 14th. She has had some technical issues, so she is not going to be gridding up in this one. Tim Adcock as well has had some issues, so he's not going to join either.
Well, there you go. Unfortunate issues for some drivers, but as things go, we are going to get ourselves hopping off here in just a second's time. Simon Edwards starts off from pole today. Last season's champion in 6th place, Claire Hughes in a 42. But there is a lot that can happen at Okayama with its incredibly inventive hairpin turn, first turn and last turn corner names. The Japanese really know how to give those corners emotive, historic names here at their racetracks. Highly descriptive, yes, but florid, no. Either way, we're getting ready for this one tonight, and it's going to be fun. We've got about, checking the list really quickly in my head, 14 laps here tonight at Okayama, and they're going to have to make every one of these count. Weather's looking pretty reasonable from what we've seen so far. Track is 80 degrees Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 71, so we're expecting it to be a little bit slippery out there for these guys as the engines rev and the green flag flies. Season 2 is ho. Good run now into the first corner, also appropriately known as first corner. You think I'm making this up? I am not. Through they come, single filing out as necessary, and they'll sort themselves through for the quick counter turn left through turn number 2 here. Full course here today at Okayama before this now fun, fast, twisty section leading us right down towards this double apex right that leads us onto our middle back stretch.
Yeah, it's going to be the first main overtaking opportunity, and so far everybody's pretty much single file. Couple of two wides further back, but no car in the grass anywhere so far, so at least everybody made it 4 or 5 turns into the season as they're coming down the straight now. Edwards leading Pattinson, but Pattinson is right on the back of him, so he's probably going to make a move now as we come down into what I believe is called Hairpin Corner.
It is indeed Hairpin Corner. Down will come. No move made by Ewan Patterson. A little early for that sort of dramatic action.
Got a lock up further back. Nobody's around.
Got a crash.
Oh, big crash. Oh, everybody's piling in now. That's going to be about 10 cars involved in that one. That was very unfortunate.
I think it's around Chris Morris. It's the 88 machine of Dave Kirkman. Gets sideways on the curbs there. We'll get your replay. Kirkman just slides in, loops it sideways, gets hit by the 25 there of Morris. And a couple of the cars behind him, as everyone, as you say, starts to pile in, and a huge cluster back there in kind of 10th, 11th place. So that was way bigger than it needed to be, really. That was a monstrous crash, and even more piling up now, even further back. Wow, that was interesting. Well, good way to start the season, of course, as the guys get themselves backwards and shedding race car parts there. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars on pit road already that have had to tow back after that little fracas. And another crash just behind them coming through the final corner there. And there are cars all over the place. I don't know what's happening, and a rejoin causes another crash. What is this, silly season? I am trying to work out who the heckarino is where. The 26 is one of them, Peter Parnell.
The rejoin was Mark Murphy, at least.
Yeah.
He got drove into by Steve Lowe.
Yeah, 18 and the 26 were side by side there. I believe the 18 is Murphy, Linus. They make contact, round goes Parnell. Contact, Murphy goes off, and Murphy comes back round, just rejoins. Cowabunga takes out a race car, and off he goes again, this time very much finished off. And you can't say Skippys is without action in this first lap, as that was just silly. How do you rejoin in the middle of the corner and straight into the racing line at half the speed of a turtle? I don't know. Either way, Simon Edwards, Ewan Patterson at the front, who actually are trying to race right now rather than play Crash Bandicoot, are currently running up into the final section here. They've got the two 180-degree corners climbing up the hill now before our penultimate section. Vaughan Roberts still with them, as is Lee Anderson. Anderson in third place right now. Clark Williams is on pit road. Claire Hughes is, I believe, on track just behind Anderson. Cox also on pit road, and Watson is just with the leaders now. So this is, yeah, in terms of ways to start a season, this is not one of them.
Yeah, it started off with some proper fireworks, and well, looking at Jonathan Rex, started 37th, last of all the qualifiers, he's in 15th after just over a lap, so he definitely avoided everything and just passed the whole field pretty much.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but NASCAR has it right when they have the fireworks after the checkered flag.
Yeah, they do.
Not before, you know, just after the green.
Yeah, that's that wasn't planned, I don't think, but hey ho.
If that was planned, that was the most organised chaos I've ever seen. As Patterson staying glued to the back here of Simon Edwards as they run through now up towards the middle stretch here. Behind them it's Anderson, Vaughan Roberts, Hughes and Tufts, Miles, Watson, with Hendy and Maltby your top 10. Maltby in top 10 from starting 20th on the grid there. 18th is in 9th. That is how shaky things have gone. 28th is in 11th. Peter Cowan. As we are now side by side. First move here we had there by Patterson, who gets himself through in hairpin corner. Should be able to defend nice and easy here now towards the middle stretch behind the pit buildings. Yeah, he definitely waited his turn there, Linus. It's been 3 laps before he made that move, so he was sizing up the opportunity rather than making an early dive for it. And these guys wanted to make sure they gain some track position here, get some time on the other drivers, and don't spend a lot of time side by side here. That's what kills races for people. It groups up the rest of the field, and it suddenly becomes a massive cluster.
Yeah, it does. They're more spread out than usual now, though, because of all the carnage. But as we know, Simon Edwards, he likes to set up his car for speed on the straightaway, whereas Pattinson might have set his up car to turn well, so maybe that's why he's not been able to set him up for a pass, as Edwards just moves out of the draft straight away here. He's not going to have any sort of attempt to make a pass. He's just going to stay behind Pattinson and try and drive away from Anderson and Vaughan Roberts behind him. On that lap, though, the gap closed in slightly, but it's still about 1.6 seconds from second back to third, so just out of draft range. So if Edwards gets back in the lead on the back straight here, I think these two might be off from the rest of the field unless they can get and start working back there.
I think that's likely to be the case. Gap right now is just under 2 seconds between Edwards and Anderson there in that second grouping, so it's 2 pairs, and we've got side-by-side action here with Watson and Miles coming up on towards the back stretch. This will be an opportunity for the number 3 machine of Adam Miles, as he sits there side-by-side here with Mick Watson and should have the opportunity to make a pass here. He's not going to get much toe on this straight, but he is at the inside already, which gives him the line for the hairpin corner.
It's a little bit of side draft late on the brakes, and he's going to lock up that right front wheel, but he's going to get the position.
More
Nice
importantly, from that shallow entry lane, as he keeps it tight there to the racing line and doesn't give Watson the opportunity to cut back under him for the crossover.
Yeah, it looked like that's what he was trying to do, but Miles did a good job there, like you said, holding the inside. So back up to 7th position there for Miles, as Watson has another look, but he's going to be a bit too far back, so not going to be able to do anything here on the infield section. Maybe he'll have to set him up for the next time we get on that back straightaway. But obviously they don't want to fight too much, because Daniel Tufts is just 1.5 seconds up the road, so they might want to work together to try and catch him as well.
Yeah, they certainly are, as this one's definitely becoming a bit more of an exciting race. We'll have a look on board here with Mick Watson as they come down the start-finish line now, heading towards first corner, as he moves to the inside here to try and take that chance. Can he hold it, or will round the outside? Adam Miles hold the inside for turn 2.
He goes really wide on the exit, but he's going to have the inside still.
And he secures it. What a move there, as back across the inside cuts Mick Watson. Not going to have a chance to get back alongside, though, as this is definitely heating up back here for 8th and 7th place at the racetrack. Into the double apex right now, climbing up towards that backstretch, and it's still going to be Miles. Watson should have a good run here in the corner, which will give him an aggressive tow as they head towards hairpin. Watson should be able to get alongside here, as just up ahead of them we've seen the same thing from Lee Anderson, and I believe that is the 2.52 of Vaughan Roberts he's gotten through on there, so that is him up to 3rd place there for Lee Anderson.
It is Liu's right behind as well. He had a chance to make a move, but he decided to stay behind. Don't want to drop too far back from the leaders, where Pattinson just took back the lead from Edwards as well, and those two, they're just going to keep swapping back and forth down the back straightaway. I think we're going to see a lot of that now, and no man's land between these groups is Daniel Tufts in 6th. He's got about 1.5 seconds to the car in front and 1.5 seconds to the car behind, so he just needs to keep his head down, and hopefully he can catch up to the top 5 group.
Certainly can, of course. Mick Watson got through there on Adam Miles. That moves him back up to 7th place here. And next in line to go out to Daniel Tufts. If those two can actually catch up rather than racing each other super hard, because that might be the opportunity for them. Up ahead, Anderson leads the trio of himself, Hughes, and Vaughan Roberts. Hughes has been relatively quiet this race, Linus. He's not really been pushing towards the front as he might. But Okayama tends to be one of those Marmite tracks. Some drivers love it, some drivers just don't get on here.
Yeah, he struggled a bit in qualifying, like I said, but he still started 6th, but which is pretty, well, is not a good performance for being Liu, so being our reigning champion as well. But he's doing his best. He's keeping up back there in 5th. He's actually looks like he's going to have a look on Roberts here. Going to move up the inside into the double right apex right-hander coming up the hill. So he's going to move into 4th. See where Anderson places his car. If he's going to give the tow to Hughes or to Vaughan Roberts as they're coming up the hill here. He's going to move it to the outside, so that's obviously going to help Nicholas, but Lius is still going to get some side draft. Now Anderson moves to the inside to help Lius as well. So later on the brakes here, he's going to get the position. They're going to be neck and neck. Lius has the inside though, and he is going to be able to clear him on the exit. So Lius up into 4th.
Certainly are, of course, as Ewan Patterson is now back in 2nd place here, as Simon Edwards recovered that 1st position in the hairpin here on lap number 6, towards the end of 6, on to 7 really here. Still going to be Lee Anderson in 3rd place there with Vaughan Roberts and Clear Hughes. Tufts in the no man's land, although the gap now opening up between Watson and Miles. Watson finding some speed here, Lean, as he's coming up on Tufts.
Yeah, he really is. Tufts is not able to keep up with the guys in front of either, so I think it's just down to Tufts not being quick enough. These guys behind are actually closing, and Miles, he's pulled away from Miles as well, so Watson definitely possible to get up into P6 here, but he's dropping from the guys in front of Tufts, so I think 6th is as far as he will get, but he's going to be there within a couple of laps. He actually gained 4/10 on that lap on Daniel Tufts. So with the draft now down the back straightaway, we might actually see a move as soon as hairpin turn or whatever it was called.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way here, as we're definitely seeing Watson catching up now, and Miles has dropped back considerably here from where he was fighting with Mick Watson, changing positions now, dropping back a lot. So we should see Watson, well, the gap is closing down now between himself and Tufts. Last time by, Watson did a 1:43.281. Tufts a 43.692. So a definite speed difference here. Nearly half a second.
Yeah, it's massive. Tufts just hasn't got the speed, and meanwhile we see positions changing back and forth at the front and in the second group, and well, that's going to start back here as well now. Tufts, don't know why he's struggling. I can't really see where he's losing all that time, but obviously it's just Watson who is just that much quicker. And you can visually see the gap has come down even more now as he almost tries to make a move from 10 car lengths back. That looked a bit optimistic, but obviously not going to be able to do anything with that.
Not at all. Here comes Watson on Tufts. The gap coming even shorter now. Let's see what their lap times are this time by, but I know it's going to be a little bit faster yet again. Final corner now for those two. Up ahead of them still Edwards from Patterson. Anderson, Hughes, Vaughan Roberts now back in the 5th place as Claire Hughes actually got ahead there. Claire Hughes now up to 3rd place in this one. And Mick Watson was a 43.154. Tufts a 43.490. So 0.3 of a second there, and the draft definitely playing into this one. Right on the back bumper. We'll keep our eyes on that fight, Linus, as looking to front. Patterson back ahead of Edwards here. They're shifting positions a lot more now on lap 8.
They are, and they're coming to that uphill section again onto the back straightaway. We're probably going to see Edwards. Oh, as Patterson goes really wide, that's going to help Edwards even more. And he's going to be right underneath him, actually next to him already at the beginning of the straightaway. He's going to lift out to be able to get behind him and get that draft. And he's going to move out again, so we're going to see Edwards move into the lead here. Behind him, we're probably going to see Anderson pass Hughes as well, as Edwards cleared him well before the braking zone. I don't think Pattinson even tried to hold him back there. He knows that this is the quickest way to go, and well, behind him they're actually staying in line, so nothing really going on back there. Maybe they're trying to catch these guys, but they're almost 3 seconds behind now, and we're just past halfway as well, so I think it's going to be too much for them to catch back up.
I think it's pretty unlikely to see them catching back up at this rate with only 6 laps to go at the end of this one. Back here though with Tufts and Watson. Watson right through actually on Tufts. He made that move on the straight before hairpin corner and move himself now up to the 6th spot for Mick Watson. Qualified at 8th, so only gained 2 so far, but a good showing from this season. Simon Maltby 20th now into 9th place. That's a great improvement for him. He's doing a fantastic job today. He's currently just ahead here of Hendy and Cowan. Cowan, though, has definitely come through 28th to 11th.
Yeah, some really, really big movers in this field now with those crashes at the beginning. If you survive that, you kind of gained quite a bit. We got Richard Humphrey in 13th. He gained 10 positions. Paul Smith is from 38th up to 15th. So he has gained 23 positions and is currently our biggest mover of the race.
Great moves here. Let's look at this one now between Maltby and Cowan. Cowan has the outside for turn 2, but it won't do any good. Good defensive line there by Maltby, taking the outside for 1. Manages to hold that position here, though he could lose it on the run down to hairpin. Linus is right behind him. Cowan setting up for a wide entry to get a good run through here onto the straight.
Yeah, that looked almost like he was going to try and pass him before the right-hander, and here he comes up the inside up the hill. What a move that is. That's not going to be very helpful though, because now the guys behind are going to get the draft. He's going to be very defensive. They're not going to give any draft to anybody. But Hendy is still going to get it. I think he's too far back though, but Maltby obviously not going to get it on the outside. So good move from Peter Cowan to move up into 9th place for now.
I think also Maltby ran very wide there. It cost him a lot of speed entering the corner and just gave it there to Cowan. But Maltby still got a lot of room here to take this one back and fight. Of course, Adrian Hendy just behind them, give him a bit of a boost to catch up to Peter Cowan. Up ahead of them, oh, we've got Tufts back through on Watson, so those two fighting for that position there. So Tufts has a spot back. Up ahead of them, it's still going to be Hughes, Anderson, Vaughan Roberts there. And at the sharp end, Patterson's back ahead of Edwards. So those two are just seesawing backwards and forwards, trying to gain some time here. But they are being caught by Claire Hughes. The gap has come down. Well, it had come down about 2 tenths per second. It is now back up to 3. So it's still looking insurmountable there.
Yeah, they'd caught him about half a second in the last 2 laps, but they, like you said, they just pulled out another 2 tenths. So they were doing a good job catching, but now the front 2 are driving away again. So Lee Hughes almost driving away from Anderson and Vaughan Roberts, despite them having the draft behind him. So it looks like Lee Hughes has finally woken up here, and he might be able to secure a 3rd place here well before this race is over. Now the leaders has got some lap traffic as well to deal with, but he's going to still stay well out of the way. So Edwards going to be able to make that move on Pattinson as they pass Christopher Bates. Here comes Edwards down the inside of Pattinson, and he's going to once again clear him well before the braking zone. Looks almost like Pattinson backs out just to help the situation, make it a lot easier. So these two doing a good job. It's going to be interesting to see, though, coming onto the last lap, who is going to be in what position and how hard they're going to race each other.
It's definitely a tactical choice in terms of positioning, and I think hairpin corner is always a vital corner on his track lane as to decide who leads the end of that lap, and there's not really much chance to pass before the start finish line, so these guys are going to set this one up pretty early here. Although, interested to see now, am I imagining this? Is that a lap car? It is a lap car there. It was just ahead there of Claire Hughes, because it looked almost identical to Daniel Tuff's machine for a second to me, as I thought he'd managed to magically jump to half the course and jumped ahead of them. But it's going to be Edwards out front here of Patterson as we go across the line in a second to start lap 11. Simon Edwards, Ewan Patterson, Claire Hughes, Lee Anderson, Nicholas Vaughan Roberts, with Mick Watson there ahead of Daniel Tuffs. Start finish line very late on this straight, Linus. It might just be enough for a pass if you really set it up right.
Yeah, it might be. I think we'll on the last lap, though, if those two guys are close enough to each other, I think we might see some dive bumps coming into one of all those hairpins at the end. I think there's almost 3 hairpins on the trot, so definitely some overtaking opportunities if you're brave enough. But obviously, it's not ideal, but they have about 3 seconds to lose, so they've definitely got time to waste, so to speak. So see what happens. But here comes Pattinson again now with a run on Edwards. He's going to get up. No, he's actually not going to do anything. He's just going to stay behind him. Is he in the right position now? And is he just going to stay here until the last lap, make the move into hairpin corner on the last lap and take the win?
It would be the right tactical choice. It builds you time between yourself and third place, Linus, and honestly, there's no need for him to pass any sooner.
We have seen this once before, though. I think it's about a year and a half ago. 2 drivers racing for the win, nobody wanting to lead. 3rd, 4th and 5th ended up catching them from 8 seconds back in the last 2 laps, and none of them ended up winning the race. I don't know if you remember that one.
That was a couple of years ago, I think.
That was, well, we might be in for one of those again here, but it doesn't look like they're slowing down too much. Edwards was still one of the losers in that race as well, so I think he's learned his lesson. Meanwhile, the guys behind are still the same order: Hughes, Anderson and Vaughan Roberts. So Lee Hughes definitely the quickest of the 3, as they're not able to catch up to him even with the draft, and nobody's able to do anything. And behind them, Tufts has gone back ahead of Watson again, but Watson looks like he's the quicker one of the 2, so making a move into turn 1 here actually. Gonna make a late dive to the inside, late on the brakes, and he's gonna clear him well before the apex, and he's back into 6th place.
Yeah, it certainly is there. We'll keep our eyes on how this one's going. A little bit further back though in the field, we've got John McGovern there and Richard Humphreys running in 12th and 13th place. 2 drivers pretty close together. Same with Stevenson and Paul Smith up in 15th place. Might look at 14th the way this is going. Mod Kiko is running alone in 16th place with Rex behind her, with Darren C. Morris, Peter Parnell, James Ruth Jones in the series organizer. Alanson Patterson back in 21st from 27th place there. Nobody really out of position hugely, or we have got retirements today. Christopher Bates, Tim Adcock, Clark Williams, Matt Cox, Michael Taylor, Mark Murphy, Dave Dowson, and Sarah Savage did not start the race today, even though she qualified 14th.
Yeah, they had the technical issues there. Meanwhile, Cowan and Maltby now side by side down the back straightaway into hairpin corner. They're absolutely neck and neck. Cowan on the outside is going to be late on the brakes. Maltby's going to hold the line on the inside though, but Cowan's going to get the, well, not crossover, but he's going to get the inside on the next corner. He's going to get the double inside actually, and he's going to be able to get that position back. So Cowan holding on to 9th ahead of Maltby and Hendy, but Maltby going to the outside now into the next hairpin. He's going to try a crossover here. Looks like it, but he's not going to be able to do it. So these guys all over each other as well. There's 4 little groups now battling for the top 10 positions. Pretty good to see. It's not over yet, as we're coming to 2 laps to go now, and it's Simon Edwards still in the lead.
It really is right now. Simon Edwards not being given a chance to be 2nd place right now on lap 13. 2 to go for your lead pair. Lap traffic just ahead of them there. Pretty sure that's Joseph Ottafaro. It is indeed back in 30th place. He'll be getting out of the way of your leaders probably pretty shortly on the straight here. But for now, we're not seeing a move by Ewan Patterson. Is he going to try and secure it and defend it on this run? That could be an option. Now would be an opportunity to pass, take the place and hold it, try and defend, but stays there with Edwards. Doesn't look like he's going to try and make a move as they're getting past the lap car, though, in the critical kind of dive zone. For hairpin, stays behind him. Bit of a lock-up there from Edwards. Edwards' car always set up for straight line speed, we've found in the past, Linus, rather than being set up for the cornering, so he's definitely going to lock a bit more in the corners. He runs very wide there! 8-9 corner section. Nearly a mistake, as the gap is still about 3 seconds to Hughes, Anderson and Vaughan Roberts. But the race is still very much ahead here.
Pattinson definitely waiting until the last lap. We've seen him now 3 laps in a row. He's just sitting on the back of Edwards down that straight. So he's setting him up for the last lap, and this is going to be an amazing ending. See if Edwards can throw it back at him in one of these other hairpins, or maybe even in through the last corner. But coming to 1 lap to go, it's Edwards from Pattinson, Lee Hughes, Anderson and Vaughan Roberts still in the same order as they've been for like the last 10 laps. Nobody able to do anything back there, and Watson is back ahead of Tufts again, so these guys not really doing too much. Miles has caught up to them as well, so that's a trio to look out for as well. But we're going to keep our eyes on the leaders now, as Edwards is leading it on to the last lap.
He certainly is. This is going to be our opportunity here for Patterson. We've seen a defensive line taken by Edwards. It's going to have to be rounding outside for Ewan Patterson, which he can do. But he's going to have to really line this one up right. This is his corner of opportunity, Linus, coming up right now. This double apex right is where he has to set this up. And if you can put it up the inside, that would be beneficial. But I don't think he might be able to get it there. He's doing a good job, though. This is definitely the move now. He's making it early, side by side here, denying the inside line to Simon Edwards. But has Edwards got a faster run on the outside? I think he has. Look, he's pulling ahead. If you can clear him, you'll be able to pull down and block on that entry. But he's not going to be clear enough. But they're side by side now. This could be it for Ewan Patterson. Can he get through here? This is his corner. His opportunity. Wide entry by Edwards. Holds it on the outside. Can he hold the inside? I think he's going to hold the inside here. This is going to get tough. Side by side racing. Drops back inside for Patterson. Can he undercut him? Not going to have a chance there. Too slow. Now he's running out of options. He has to be right on the back here of Simon Edwards. He can get this thing done, but he's going to have to get this absolutely right. Opportunity still exists. 2 corners here. Neither of them passing opportunities realistically. He's going to have final corner now to get this one done. Oh, I'm not sure I like that inside line attempt. I think he should have stayed to the draft cleaners on the back straight and use that draft to get it alongside, rather than this whole kind of, I'm going to go up the inside, take a slightly slower line here. Good run, good run. He just can't catch up too quickly. He's running wide. He's drifting. Can he draft past him now for the win? It's going to be close. Oh, a wobble. A wobble from Simon Edwards. Death wobble. What's he doing?
Oh my god.
I don't know what's going on here.
Well, Edwards won the race.
Yeah, I think he's scared Ewan Patterson not wanting to pass, but being so sideways. Clear Hughes comes through as expected with Lee Anderson, Vaughan Roberts. No position changes there. Mick Watson comes through ahead of Adam Miles, who got past Daniel Tufts. So, wow,
got
that was
Cowan, Maltby and Hendy as well racing. Going to finish in that order, 9th, 10th and 11th.
Nakonga.
Yeah, right on the tail of each other. And Paul Smith has actually got up to P14, so he's going to be our biggest mover with 24 positions gained. That's another outstanding performance from our own Paul Smith.
Well, he always starts at the back and doesn't qualify, so he gets the opportunity to go through the most places. It's typical Paul Smith. Yes, he's a great driver, but he does start at the back every week. On purpose. Most
Well,
he's racing before qualifying, but still, it's his thing, yeah. He sees how many
Still
cars he can pass.
we got a crash for 27th, 28th. That's Michael R. Cook. He went around racing Chris Morris with a few lap turns to go. So, well, he's going to be able to make it to the end, but he's going to lose a couple more positions, unfortunately.
Yeah, I believe he is there, but
And he's
what
the
a
last
fantastic
car to finish the race.
Yes, he is.
as well,
Last car running. He limps across the line. Well, with that, we'll go to your post-race results. Simon Edwards brings it home now with a great win here at Okayama for round number 1 of Season 2 2020. Ewan Patterson second, and joining them on the podium is Claire Hughes, 2.4 seconds back. Behind them is Lee Anderson, Nicholas Vaughan Roberts in 5th place with Mick Watson, Adam Miles, Daniel Tufts, Peter Cowan and Simon Maltby. And with them, Adrian Hendy, John McGovern, Richard Humphreys, Paul Smith, Neil Stevenson, Mod Kiko, Peter Parnell, Jonathan Rex, James Ruth Jones and Darren C. Morris. And see, that was a great race to start off the season. I really, really enjoyed that one. And Monday Night Skippys never disappoints.
Yeah, despite the all the carnage on the first lap. I think that's more carnage than we've seen in the last 5 years, all packed together in one lap.
Oh,
Despite
insanity.
all of that, we got a really good race with four big groups racing at the front of the field. So after that first lap, I thought this is going to be a boring one, but they definitely didn't disappoint. And, Pattinson, I think he lost this race by going to the inside at the beginning of the straight. He should have
Agreed.
drafted past him, and he might have even had him cleared before the braking zone. So, but he didn't give up. He tried all the way to the last meter, and I don't really know what Simon Edwards did there. Hopefully, we can get him in here. Maybe he thought the finish line was at the beginning of the straight.
Yeah, that's definitely one way to interpret it, because it is right at the end. The start-finish line is right into turn 1. That's one of the weird things with Okayama. I think he perhaps was celebrating a little early, and I think it spooked you and Patterson. Would have been awkward if he'd slowed down and actually let him go past, not realising where it was. Oh, yeah. I mean, that has happened. Oh, wow. No, a fantastic race here at Okayama, and I don't believe anyone's coming for a chat today. I say this as I try to draw out time, knowing people will likely log on the second we wrap up the broadcast, like they always do. No? No, it's quiet. Is the Rachel curse going to exist again? Well, folks, with that, we're going to wrap things up here tonight. We've had a great race here to start Season 2 of 2020, and I look forward to seeing you all at the following races. We'll see you next time. Good night.